On this episode, we're going to be talking about the video games they showed off at Warhammer Skulls today.
Dome Runners TV, your guide to the Underhive and beyond.
Hey there, scabby scummers and gangers. Crimson Oracle here with another episode of Dome Runners TV. Today we're going to be talking about the Warhammer Skulls event and all the cool stuff they showed off. I'm a big fan of Warhammer video games. I think that they get unnecessarily maligned by a lot of people, and I've been wanting to kind of cover more Warhammer video game related stuff. It's just been kind of a process. It's a new genre of video for me, so it's taken me a while, but I'm actually working on a video right now about one of my favorite games that I think didn't get enough attention of the last few years. Before we get to that, that video I'm hoping to get up early June. But for now, I want to talk about the reveals that they showed off at Warhammer Skulls today. There were a bunch of new reveals, there were a bunch of previews of stuff for existing games, and I just want to kind of run everything down for those who didn't get a chance to look at it and kind of give you my opinion on everything as someone who plays a lot of this stuff.
If you like our content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and for as little as $2 a month you can become a patron and help support the show.
So first off, we have Realms of Ruin. This is a pretty interesting looking game. It is a real-time strategy game set in the Age of Sigmar universe with Stormcast versus the Cruel Boys as the initial starting factions. And it looks like it's designed for both single player with a campaign written by Gav Thorpe, and it looks like it's got support for 1 versus 1 and 2 versus 2 multiplayer, which is a pretty fun thing to be introducing. And so let's give it a look.
I have fought and fallen times beyond counting. Only to be reforged anew. I feel my humanity dulled, my memories eroded. My burden weighs heavily. In Sigmar's name, we shall bring order to the savage realm. For I am Stormcast, and my war wages eternal.
If you get a chance, I definitely recommend checking out that full video. There's a whole section talking about what the developers had to say about it, which is, a perspective I like to hear. I wish developers, the actual people working on games, were more accessible, honestly, because I think that we kind of lose sight of the people who are actually working on these games, the artists who are making this stuff happen. And they're just as important as kind of the presenters who introduce this to it. So it's always nice to hear from them. But regardless, I'm really excited for this one. We don't really have an idea of what it's going to play like yet, but I love real-time strategy games. Just from since I was a kid, Dawn of War was a very, very fun game. I wasn't as into Dawn of War 2, so I'm curious what the format of this one is going to be like. I like that it's going to have multiplayer as well as story. I don't like it when games go too hard into multiplayer. I like there to be a single player mode because personally, I'm not always trying to be kind of dealing with other people when I'm playing games. I like to be able to pause and quit when I need to quit, that kind of stuff. So I'm happy to see that. And I'm really excited because I think we don't get enough view of the mortal realms. With Warhammer 40k, it's been around for so long that we've gotten such a in-depth kind of feel for the universe through all the various types of media that they've done over the years. But Age of Sigmar, being so much newer, I really look forward to every opportunity we get to kind of experience the mortal realms in a different way, whether it's audiobooks, whether it's the Black Talon show on Warhammer Plus, or now this video game. And I've been a little bit disappointed by some of the earlier Age of Sigmar themed games that I've played. I haven't had a chance to play Stormstrike yet on my quest, but that is one that I want to cover eventually on this channel. But I'm definitely excited to kind of get my hands around this title when it comes out. Next up, we have a fun little thing here. It looks like it is the Orcs in Speed Freaks. And let me tell you, this one got me excited when it came on. That could be awesome. I don't want to assume. I always take every video game announced with a grain of salt, but vehicular combat is a legitimately fun element of gaming. And who better to show off vehicular combat in the 41st millennium than orcs fighting orcs? It's their favorite pastime other than crumping other people. I mean, look, we don't know that much about the game. We don't know what kind of gameplay, story, what the overall system of the game is going to be. But from what we see there, you got all of the different vehicles that were in the Speed Freaks game, including like looted wagons and looted Russes and all of that amazing stuff. And I just, this is exactly what I want out of an orc game. We could talk about Blood Shooters and Teeth. I haven't had a chance to actually play that one yet, but it's on my list to buy for my Nintendo Switch. And I'd like to review it, but I'm not, I need to figure out whether I can easily capture the video from the Switch onto here. I would buy it on PC, but I would prefer to play it on Switch. So I similarly want to review Mechanicus at some point. And of course, that is a game I have on Switch as well. So we'll figure it out eventually. If I have to buy a capture card, I have to buy a capture card. That's life. But regardless, orcs are one of my favorite topics. Point of view from orcs is awesome. It's one of the things that I liked about the original Dawn of War games is you got point of view play from every single faction that was in the game. And I love playing as orcs. I love books from the point of view of orcs. It's just really great to get that kind of alien perspective. So I'm very excited for this one. Unfortunately, we don't know enough about it for me to really go in depth in terms of like whether it's going to appeal to me specifically. But I like Carmageddon a lot. And this it's giving me Carmageddon vibes. So hopefully that's what we get. And next up, an update on Space Marine 2, which is a game that I think everybody is looking forward to. Even those of us who aren't super into the third-person action genre, Space Marine was such a standout, excellent game that I'm very excited to play Space Marine 2, even though it's not my personal favorite type of game.
Major Sarkana, what's your status?
We've lost a lot of men, out of heavy rounds, but we're still in the fight!
We're coming to you now.
They're plotting something.
What motive do these creatures have to attack this facility?
These are mere drones.
Then what guides them?
A worthy adversary.
You will pay, you rotten carcasses! this abomination! Delta Wing, report.
The spores collapsed the bridge. There's no way through.
Get into assault position by the bridge.
Let us show them some of Ultima's hospitality!
Come forth and be slaughtered.
I mean, that's exactly what I want out of the next Space Marine game, right? I want to see lots and lots of Tyranids, and I want to smash them to bits with every variety of weapon that's available to the Adeptus Astartes. That's it. That's all I need. It looks polished. It looks great. You know, we'll see how the actual final product feels when we get our hands on it, but they're starting with some, you know, excellent inspiration material in terms of the first game, so I have confidence that this will be perfectly fine, and I, you know, hopefully it's even better than fine. It's a standout, whatever. I'm into it, and it's a good topic for a game. Seeing more Tyranids in terms of rendered in gameplay is always fun. They're one of those factions that don't get as much attention, so I'm very stoked for this one. Now, Total War Warhammer 3 is getting the legendary character Harold Hammerstorn, Harry the Hammer, so that's a fun one. Not much of a major need to update on that one, but I'm excited to see him in that game. I haven't picked up 3 yet. I have Total War Warhammer 2, I think, and not 1 or 3, but it makes my machine cry when I try to run it, so I think I'm going to need a desktop before I can actually manage to enjoy the Total War Warhammer series. And this one is one that I don't know how to describe this.
Peggy 3.
I've never heard of Power Wash Simulator before, but this is a Power Wash Simulator Warhammer tie-in. Yeah, I got nothing. I have absolutely nothing. I have no idea what that is. So there you go. And Darktide is getting an update with a bit more stuff. I'm a fan of Darktide, so let's take a look at the trailer they put up now.
Hi everyone, I'm Juan, executive producer on Darktide. What you just saw is a sneak peek of the exciting new content coming to Darktide, which will release during Skulls. Before we talk about that, let's have a look at what we've done over the past 6 months. Since launch, we have worked hard to improve the game. We have delivered 2 content drops and 9 patches alongside many hotfixes. Some highlights include Content Drop, The Signal, where we release a new mission and 2 new weapons. Patch 4, Blessings of the Omnissiah, in which we improve the shrine and its modification systems. Content Drop, Tools of War, which feature an armory upgrade with 10 additional weapon marks and new conditions. Patch number 9, Guards and Penances, where we revamped the penances and added new cosmetic rewards. Your support over the past 6 months have been key in delivering these updates, and we will keep delivering more content at a steady rate. Now let's have a look at Content Drop, Rejects Unite, which will release during Skulls. Two new missions will be added to the game. The first one, Archive on Sycorax. We see your team dispatched to wipe out sensitive data from the archives. Ascension Riser 31 will be part of our first community event. Players will have to unite to go through 3 challenges, each granting rewards. The final reward will be Ascension Riser 31. An old friend will also be added to the game, the Chaos Squad. Alongside this additional content, we will have more quality of life improvements and bug fixes added into the game with patch number 10. A new shop dedicated to earnable cosmetics will open on the Morningstar, featuring additional items to collect. You can now see all earnable cosmetics in your inventory, including those left to unlock. Thank you for playing Darktide. Until next time.
I really had liked Darktide when I started playing it last fall. I haven't really had a lot of time for it because I've been really focused on, when I do play video games, I've been really doing a lot of Fallout 4 and recently back to Inquisitor Martyr. So I have been trying to kind of get myself back into it. A couple of my friends are playing it, so I would like to, get into it a little bit more, maybe stream it a little bit, but Darktide is a lot of fun. The mechanics of the game feel great. The combat, I play as a zealot. The feeling of just wading into tide after tide of bodies and just casting them down with my weapons is admittedly a ton of fun. So I'm definitely I'm really feeling it. I'm excited for the content drop, and I really love the idea of fighting Chaos Spawn. I hope that there's a lot more in store for this game over the coming years, because there's just a lot of potential there, and I would love for them to explore as much of it as possible. Because a lot of the times my complaint with Warhammer games is they come out, you don't get that ongoing, additional exploration of the concept. Like Space Hulk was fun, but imagine if Space Hulk had allowed you to, sort of take your Terminators up against multiple varieties of enemies as opposed to just Gene Stealers and Gene Stealer cults. Like, what if you were fighting Orcs, or what if you were fighting Necrons? That would be really fun. But a lot of the games don't really do that. I would love to see Darktide get that level of kind of love. And in a related matter, they're actually dropping a new character and new missions for Vermintide 2. So that just gives you kind of a feel for the kind of ongoing support that Fat Shark tends to give their co-op shooters. So I'm definitely hopeful that we'll get a long longevity and ton of content out of this game. I think a lot of people were initially very critical of Darktide when it came out because of some of the random number generator elements when it came to the weapons in the end game, and I'm hoping that they have fixed that for people. But honestly, end game stuff is just not really where I get super concerned about a game, because once I've put 40 hours into it, I've gotten my money out of it. So I'm not super worried about whether the end game content is more of a hassle than I like, because I don't generally play one game that long personally. So I thought the game was a great value, and I really like the mechanics. So super excited to see it continue to get more stuff. And hopefully I'll be doing more video content related to Darktide in the coming months. Next up, the game that I am looking forward to the most of all the unreleased Warhammer games, we have Rogue Trader. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Rogue traders, daring explorers who benefit from a unique style of freedom normally unheard of in the Imperium, with means to decide the fate of entire regions of space. Little can stop them in their pursuit of domination and power. And they do not venture alone. Their crew contains some of the galaxy's most unique denizens. Unsanctioned psychers, strange Xenos, servants of the Inquisition, and even space marines of the Adeptus Astartes. Ulfa is a lone space wolf survivor whose pack was defeated by the murderous Drukari. All of them are ready to follow you on the battlefield, where their unique skills can be the deciding factor between victory and defeat. But the rogue traders' true might lies in their personal void ship and the resource-rich worlds under their control. This is what makes them such dominant figures. Even still, the enemies of humanity are numerous, and they will not relinquish an opportunity to strike. And worst of all, a ghastly peril lurks. An insidious corruption which works to undermine the strength of the Imperium's most staunch defenders. Chaos. Only with uncompromising zeal and steadfast faith can rogue traders withstand the lure of the ruinous powers. And those who succumb to the darkness risk a calamitous fate in exchange for their soul. Only madness and damnation await.
This looks awesome. I mean, I am, a big fan of the Rogue Trader role-playing game system, and I think that these guys are the perfect studio to develop this. The Pathfinder game really shows us what they're capable of, and this looks like it's going to deliver on everything that a sort of Rogue Trader-based classic CRPG should be. Tons of varieties of enemies, hopefully lots of different branching quests that you can go down. I want something that's, it's like Baldur's Gate, that kind of classic feel. This is look like it's going to deliver exactly that. So I'm very excited. And now for the game that just came out that I'm extremely excited to play, which again, I think I'm going to pick up on my Switch, but we will see. I'm, of course, talking about Bolt Gun.
It is time to purge the heretics. Unleash your wrath upon the enemies of the Imperium! Plunge headlong into the grim, dark universe of Warhammer 40,000! Who will prevail against the darkness? The Ultramarines! For the Emperor! Only in death does duty end.
This is just, it's exactly what I want out of gaming trends. Like, I'm really exhausted of games pushing for better and better graphics and really putting way too many resources into that, overtaxing people's computers, and making games that are unpleasant to play unless you've got extremely expensive equipment. And instead, making something that focuses on making the gameplay as fun as possible. Obviously, you don't have to make a full-on vintage game in order to focus on fun gameplay. But this is the peak of what I want out of video game development. I want like this kind of return to DOS. Like, really, let's get back to the fundamentals. You guys have spent so much time making games look good, but you haven't focused as much on making games play in a fun way. And I want to get that back to basics. What makes all those classic games so great is that they have compelling environments and stories, and they're fun and silly and over the top. And Doom is, it's a legendary game that has lasted as long as it has for a reason. And we get to kind of, put our toes back in those waters with Bolt Gun. So I'm definitely going to grab that this weekend. And I'm very excited. We also found out that the card game Warpforge is coming out on June 8th. This is not really my personal favorite genre, but if you're into that kind of thing, check that out. We've got Orcs coming to Battle Sector, so that is one if you happen to play that I think should be fun. I love playing as Orcs, like I said. I haven't actually tried Battle Sector yet, but I would like to check it out. Lizard Men are coming to Blood Bowl 3. I'm excited because Lizard Men are always awesome, and I like to see them in pretty much any setting. But the Blood Bowl 3 is supposed to be a lot of fun, so check that out. Small update. There's that. More updates to Chaos Gate 2 as well, so check the website for those. As I mentioned earlier, Vermintide 3 is getting another level and a new character in the Bright Wizard. More World of Tanks crossover, if that's your bag. And hey, the excellent soundtrack to the game Mechanicus is also coming to colored vinyl for those of you vinyl collectors out there. Very fun. Warhammer seems to have keyed into the fact that a lot of overlap with the vinyl collector millennial kind of community in the Warhammer community. So that about covers the entire Skulls event, and check the show notes below for your links to the free Skulls giveaway stuff that they always do, and of course check Good Old Games and Steam for sales, as there's a lot of stuff that is at discount in celebration of Skulls. And yeah, I look forward to trying out some of these games and telling you guys what I think about them. But this was all in all a pretty fun event, and I'm glad that they're taking the time to update us about all this stuff. Thanks as always to Carl Casey at White Bat Audio for the show's theme song. Thanks as always to my patrons. You guys make all of this possible, and without it I could not be making these videos on the regular. And of course, if you would like to become a patron for as little as $2 a month, you can hop on over to patreon.com/domerunners and help support the show and keep it coming. And of course, we have a podcast, so if you would like to learn more about Necromunda, check out the Dome Runners wherever you get your podcasts. And everybody out there, please stay safe and don't forget to change your paint water.